Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices, and we have allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. If this is something that you can see yourself supporting, we ask that you like, comment, and share this live feed. Now, as of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, fam, we will not be silenced. If you're really about the cause and you really want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our leaders accountable, well, make sure you subscribe to our social media platforms. You can subscribe to both Frankie Olivo page on Facebook, and you can subscribe to our YouTube page titled Frankie Olivo TV. Remember, I will never, ever ask my community for money, nor I will ever ask you for food. Well, depends what you're making. All I ask of you, ladies and gentlemen, is a simple subscription, a simple follow on our pages. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. religiously, rain or shine. So make sure you subscribe to our Frankie Olivo TV page on YouTube to tune in. Remember, fam, we will not be silenced. And always remember, Brownsville, I am forever grateful to each and every one of you for your time and attention. Thank you so much for being here with us today. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy hump day. Man, I've been busy. The phones keep on blowing up. I go to sleep early, wake up early, and I feel exhausted. But more than anything, I'm very thankful and appreciative for the opportunities that I have to work. And I'm thankful for my clients that give me the opportunity to be there for them in their most pressing times of need. A lot has been happening, ladies and gentlemen, in the city of Brownsville. You thought maybe because we were going to be in the summer that everything was going to be at a standstill. No, the wheels of politics and that what is the city of Brownsville is always evolving. Things change in a Brownsville, Texas minute. I have promised y'all that we will be having nothing but bangers, and best believe we will. Tomorrow we'll bring up an interesting story that we talked about previously, but we're going to dissect a little bit more. We're going to talk about Carlos Elizondo and his Jazz Marie page. He talked about an apartment that the coaches allegedly had. What happened to that? We're going to bring that up. We're going to talk about Martin Sarkis. We already have the story ready to go. We were debating with our production team whether we should wait until before or after Tuesday's BISD meeting. They said, no, let them have it before. And I said, okay, I'm a team player. So we have a Victor Caballero story, a Frank Ortiz story, and the list keeps going on and on and on. To my community, I thank you so much for your patience, and I ask, and I will continue to ask for your patience. So much information has been coming in our way, and depending on us confirming the validity of those complaints, allegations, is how we post the content that we do. Many individuals question us and say, oh, this is far-fetched. Best believe whenever we talk about things, it's already been verified by 3, 4, possibly even more sources. Remember, fam, our job isn't to attack, to belittle people. By no means. We're not Carlos. We're not Maggie. We're not Jazz Marie. What we do is we hold our leaders accountable. If you're running a nonprofit organization that you have sponsorships, that you have kids, best believe if we know that someone is consuming illicit substances and is around kids, we're going to bring it up. That's our job. What the community decides to do with that information is totally up to you, my people. Again, my job is just to present you the good, the bad, and the ugly. What y'all decide to do with it is out of my hands. Today, ladies and gentlemen, by popular demand, I've had several people asking me, "Are you going to talk about the famous pothole? Are you going to talk about the famous pothole?" And I said, "You know what? I'm busy right now. I got BISD, so much material." And they're like, "Hey, sneak it in there a little bit." And I said, okay." Again, fam, I want to go out, but they keep on bringing me back in and they say, "Please cover this." So today, ladies and gentlemen, today we'll be talking about and asking the question, is the city of Brownsville using city resources to pave streets that are on private property? This is a big question that many people have asked, and we'll be able to shed light a little bit more regarding this issue. So tune in, Brownsville. You guessed it. Good Morning Brownsville is bringing you another juicy episode. Hope you all enjoy. And that's just how we will start today's show.
Macias. I'm Commissioner Cárdenas. And we're here in District 4. I just wanted to report out that we're pothole where McDonald's and Academy is at, and we're getting it done.
So let's remember, this is private property, but there was a way for us to get it done through contacting owners and looking at some easements, and we're able to get it done. So just remember, when we work together, we can get everything done. Thank you.
So when you drive up here, just know it's going to be safe. Have a great one.
Now, again, what we are about to talk about today is somewhat controversial in the sense of, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. You heard Precinct 4 Commissioner Pedrito Cardenas talk about how that this site in question is private property. And this isn't something that arose from one day to the next, ladies and gentlemen. Many people have asked me to cover this because they said, "Hey, isn't it kind of funny how, they wait until after the election to do this? Shouldn't it have been done before?" Again, what we're about to say, we're going to be criticized because you have those people that say, "You know what? I don't care. I don't care how, what was used, what was done. The important thing is that it was fixed." And what we're going to talk about today isn't to belittle or isn't to poke fun, or because we get criticized a lot by saying, y'all are so petty. Y'all nitpick everything. The important thing is that it was done. The issue here is two things. It's twofold. One is that this location is a location that has been not attended to for the longest time. What I could confirm from this hole was that it goes back at least 2 years. Based on our investigations and asking community members if they remember this, many people have stated that this has been happening, that this hole that has caused tires, suspensions to be affected, vehicles to be damaged, has been an issue that the city of Brownsville has been facing for many years, plural, more than 2. Someone there said, "Man, this goes back at least 8 years." And I said, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Are you mean to tell me that this issue has been ongoing and for whatever reason, nothing has been done about it? The shocks, suspensions, tires, shocks, the body of the vehicle. If you have a Tesla, if you have a Lamborghini, a Corvette, a Rolls Royce, if you drive a Porsche like your humble servant, this is an issue that has been plaguing this area for many years. And this is a highly trafficked area. This is something that many people are affected by it. Now, I do want to state we are thankful, that initiatives were taken by city commissioners. It's about time. But the issue here at hand is this private property? Is this location in between McDonald's and Academy an issue that should have been addressed long ago? Why are we waiting until now? Again, I know what you're going to say. Frankie, quit complaining. It's already been done. Ya cállate la boca. But we have to bring this issue to light, and we have to ask these tough questions because, again, ladies and gentlemen, my job is to start the conversation, is to have a discussion with my community. Many people are not going to like what I'm about to say. Many people are going to even question, well, maybe this guy does have a point. Now, it got so bad, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this picture on the screen. This picture on the screen is the location in question. This is this same pothole that I've been showing you. And look, it's deep. It's deep. I think we even had candidates Daisy Zamora sit Daisy Zamora sit in this hole. And she said, hey, pues we need to address this very important issue. This is something that affects us. That's important. But again, we did start the video by stating how Pedrito Cárdenas stated that, hey, this is in private property. This is something that we worked out. This is something that we worked out with property owners. But the question is, who paid? Why were city resources used on private property? Again, fam, I want you to remember, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Is the city of Brownsville setting precedents in, we'll pave all private streets? If that's the case, geez, I've been contacted by several property owners that have said, hey, Frankie, are you going to cover this story? Because that's private property. And if that's the case, well, maybe they should come to my property. Again, look at this satellite image. You see that? You see this, fam? Look at that hole. Look at that hole. You see it? This is something that had gotten out of hand. Again, this isn't something that happened from one day to the next. This is an accumulation of things. You see that? It got so bad, ladies and gentlemen. This hole got so bad that that it came out on the satellite image. You know how bad that has to be? That's bad. People started joking and saying, hey, Frankie, bro, it got so bad that even Jack and Rose are there, and they drowned when the Titanic sank. Always. So we asked the question, ladies and gentlemen, is this private property or not? Well, we have some information in regards to this by none other than Commissioner de los Santos. Look what he states on this matter. Again, this is an issue that has been plaguing this area for many, many years. We're thankful that this problem has been addressed. But we want to know, what's the backstory to this, ladies and gentlemen? Well, Commissioner de los Santos gives us a little history in regards to this street in particular. Commissioner de los Santos goes on to say, here are the facts on that private drive. That's how he starts off. This portion of Old Highway 77 was abandoned by the City Commission in 2002. The property was transferred to a certain Dale Baldoff. representing adjacent property owners, following a petition by the same individuals asking the city to abandon it. Because again, this street in question originally belonged to the city of Brownsville because it was not connected, but adjacent, but was part of Old Highway 77. So what happened? These developers, these owners, these property owners back in 2002, they asked the city, we want it. This was done in exchange. They bartered. They said, hey, give up this, we'll do this. What did they do? They built approximately 1,400 feet of a portion of Morrison Road at the expense of Mr. Baldolf, the individual that asked the city to abandon it. So according to Commissioner de los Santos and Pedrito Cárdenas, this location is private property. So it doesn't belong to the city. So the question remains, what agreement was made by the city and the owner? Because it's private property. It doesn't belong to the city no more. When we talk about Old Highway 77, if you haven't driven by there, and Old Highway 77, if we can remember, is behind, is in front of Movies 10. We all know where Movies 10 is at, right? John Villarreal and former Commissioner John Villarreal and Judge Ben Neese, God rest his soul, they started the initiative of redeveloping Highway 77. And for the longest time, I think it's going on a year now, possibly two, that Old Highway 77 is having a $13 million makeover. And you know where that's at, right? It's having a $13 million makeover. And what has that done for us? For business owners, they're upset because they're losing business. If you haven't traveled, and I apologize, I was supposed to take video yesterday of the street for today's show, but I'm busy, Leishon. I know y'all think I don't do nothing. I know y'all think I just hang out and scratch my belly. Well, I do. I was supposed to go and take out a video, but I've just been so busy. Business owners have reached out to me and said, hey, have you heard of the latest of the progress? And I said, no, I haven't. They said, man, we're losing business. It's bad. It's very, very bad. Now, we understand. We understand. Good morning, Mr. Nieto. We understand that this type of developments, these makeovers, they take time. We understand that. But Old Highway 77 and that property in question used to belong to Highway 77. So the question remains, what agreement was made by the city and the property owner? Is the property owner going to fit the bill? I know what you're thinking, Frankie. Who cares? It doesn't matter. The important thing is that it was done. Again, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If we do it for one, we have to do it for all. And if we open that possibility, the city of Brownsville will have to fit the bill. Because if we're telling the community that, hey, look what we're doing on this private property that once belonged to Old Highway 77, is the owner fitting the bill? Because again, city resources were used. And again, I have another instance. Linda Macias. And look, Linda Macias, I'm glad. I'm thankful that we have someone in the commission. Maybe Brian should take notes. Brian. Saca la pluma, Brian. Commissioner Macias is commissioner for Precinct 2. She has no business in Precinct 4. Who does that belong to? Pedrito Cárdenas. Why didn't Pedrito Cárdenas address that issue back then? Because it's Pedrito Cárdenas. He doesn't care. All he focuses on is making money for himself, his wife, and his uncle, and his cousin, and his family. That's it. If you haven't noticed already. But again, we're thankful for commissioners such as Linda Macias, who oversteps her boundary. Hey, it's okay. Hey. That is doing work for Precinct 4. But the question is, Patricia Hernandez, was this done with city resources? With city funds? Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Back in late May, Linda Macias, Commissioner Linda Macias, in 802, where the old Gaddies used to be, there's that street right next to Chick-fil-A. Look what Commissioner Macias states. Please know that the pothole on 802 in the plaza next to Chick-fil-A and in between Chick-fil-A and Mr. Gaddies, what used to be Mr. Gaddies, has been reported. It says the city will be following up with the owner of the plaza very, very soon. So again, what is happening at City Hall? Is City Hall reaching out to the owners and saying, hey, you need to fix this up? Because what happens if we're not, if our businesses are a liability? Is it fair to say? What happens to that? Well, we could get sued. The city of Brownsville could issue a fine for us. These are real possibilities. Why? Because it's a hazard moving forward. It really is. So again, we ask the question, did code enforcement go out? Is code enforcement doing their job in making sure that the streets of Brownsville are paved? That is what we want to know. Because it comes down to, are we using city resources for private property? It's a valid question. And I know you're saying, Frankie, you're nitpicking. Am I really? Are we going to allow all of the business owners to have the opportunity to let city resources, city equipment be used for that? And again, look, she posted it in late May. Look how long it took her. It took her possibly 2 weeks. Look at that patch. And again, these patches are just temporary. These patches, they don't last too long. Why? Because with rain, with wear and tear, after a while, it's going to end up being the same pothole. It's going to be the same. And look, she posted in May 4th, May 24th, this issue, May 24th, and look, June 8th, 2 weeks, let's say, más o menos. It's been patched. But the question remains, can it be paid by the city using taxpayer money? Taxpayer paving the streets? Did the city send them a bill for that? And look, the city of Brownsville has many issues, ladies and gentlemen, with streets needing to be paved. And Mr. Nieto makes a great point, like Morrison and Pablo Quisel. I'm not sure if you're referring to the stripes, Mr. Nieto, the new stripes that's across from the bowling alley. Again, I was supposed to go take video, but I'm busy. I'm busy. But are you referring to, there's a brand new stripes on the corner. Texas Regional Bank is catty corner to that, and Galaxy Bowling is across from that. Yes, thank you, Mr. Nieto. There's a big dip. There's a big dip. Now, I think that is, wait, is that private property or is that city property? Is Morrison city? I think so, possibly. Or is the store, is Stripes the property owners, or are they just renting? That's the question. But many people did talk to me about this, about the Morrison Stripes issue. Morrison Pablo Quisel Stripes issue. Again, we're glad that initiatives are being taken. We're glad of that. Don't misconstrue what I'm trying to say, because you're gonna say, "Ay, Frankie, tú te estás quejando." No, we have to get to the bottom of this, because if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. That's how some cities work. After a while of not getting things done, the city can pave it, but the city will send a bill. If that bill goes unpaid, they'll put a lien on that property. Was this an issue to where Pedrito Cárdenas did nothing about this during his tenure, during his previous 4 years as city commissioner for District 4? And he needed Linda Macias to get the ball rolling? Is that what happened, Pedrito? Again, nothing against Linda Macias. Hey, she's doing things. 1 second. Were city resources done? Did this come to a point where the city, the property owner did nothing about it? And the city said, well, damn, I guess we'll do something about it. It's a hazard. It's a liability, or something even worse. Something even worse. Was this just a photo op? Huh. Somebody asked me, Frankie, why do commissioners take pictures? Isn't this their job to get things done? Are we praising them for doing what we expect them to do? Is it? Again, you may not like what I have to say, but this microphone, all it is just a microphone for the concerns of the community, of the constituents. We get a lot of flack because we hear, oh, Frankie, you're just talking, and what do you know, and this and this, that and that. No, people are using our platform to get the message out to the masses. Frankie le vale. Frankie has no filter. They see that and they're like, pues hay que darle la información a este güey, porque a él le vale. But these people are taxpayers. They're business owners. They're entrepreneurs. That, hey, if they speak out, they're going to be retaliated against. They're going to have a bullseye on their back. So what do? They send their information to Good Morning Brownsville. And guess what Good Morning Brownsville does? Well, we talk about it. Again, what was the agreement that was made? Because according to Commissioner de los Santos, his statement that he saw, this is indeed private property. Back in 2002, it was abandoned by the city of Brownsville. Pedrito Cárdenas, on the video that I just showed to start the show, he stated, we came into an agreement. What agreement was that? that we're going to use city resources, city funds, city manpower to fix this. But they didn't give us the whole enchilada. They just said, it's being done. We came to an agreement. Yeah. Again, I have at least, check my phone if you want. I have at least 3 business owners that brought this to my attention, and they said, Frankie, are you going to talk about this? I was like, hey, I'm busy. BISD's taking over. They're like, oh, no, we would appreciate for you to talk about this, because if they're paving using city resources on private property, why don't they come to mind? Someone said, private property, tax dollars being used instead of sending code enforcement and citing the owner and getting the owner to fix it themselves. And Guajardo makes a great point. Hey, my whole driveway needs some fixing, so come on out and fix it too. As well as anyone else out there that needs something done on private property. Reach out to me. I have a big list that needs to be done on the street I live on. Hope to hear from you soon. In the meantime, I'll pull up a chair. Mr. Guajardo makes a great point. Don't you think? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Are we saying by the city of Brownsville paving on private streets that city resources, manpower will be used? All business owners in Brownsville should be blowing up the phones of the city secretary. I know they're off right now for training, but they should be calling them and say, hey, I have this problem. Come fix it. You know what they're going to do? No. That's not how we operate. Hey, if you did it for one business owner, you have to do it to all of them. What agreement was made? That the city was going to fix it, but they were going to foot the bill? Were they given a discount? Don't you think these are valid arguments that we're making? We don't come on here and throw things at the wall in hopes they stick. No. These are legitimate concerns that taxpayers have. Let's continue. Ms. Martinez goes on to say, thank you, Commissioner Macias, for taking care of the problem that the District 4 commissioner could never take care of. Ouch. Low blow, girlfriend. Ouch. I guess district lines don't really matter. And look what she goes on to say. And since the District 4 commissioner doesn't live in District 4, he lives in Rancho Viejo, it's nice to know that the District 2 commissioner is reaching across district lines and taking care of business. Love you, girl, for getting it done. Ouch. What is that saying to Pedrito Cárdenas? Güey, ponte el tiro porque you ain't doing jack. Again, you could be mad at me, at Frank Olivo. I didn't make that comment. I didn't state that. I didn't state that Pedrito doesn't live in District 4. We all know he lives in Rancho Viejo, 4500 Carmen Drive Road. But why did it take Commissioner Linda Macias? Again, we're thankful for her. And look, bring me up. Linda Macias has taken initiative. She's talking about Dana Road that I think it's in the process of getting expanded. She was at the tires at the landfill with tires. She's at the Osanom Center. Hey, that's what I want from my commissioner. I do want that. I want them to be, hey, moving things, and hey, I'm active. I'm doing something. We want that. Did it take Pedrito Cárdenas, Linda Macias help to finally do something in his district? Why didn't he do this before? Again, this isn't an issue that has been happening from yesterday or a couple of days before. This is years in the making, ladies and gentlemen. Years in the making. And again, What precedents are we setting? Because other business owners are saying, I want in on this too. If you did it for them, well, come do mine too. AF Delivery said, did they use city resources to fill private driveway? Because that pothole is on private property. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If city resources were used, where do I sign up to get my driveway fixed by the city? You see the problem that we're creating? You see what precedence is being set? Because a business owner are going to want to know, ¿le cobraron o no? ¿Le dieron descuento o no? ¿O fue gratis? Because if that's the case, hey, sign me up. Yo tengo chingos de jale that need to get done. And look, let's not go that far. And look, someone made a point. Is this a photo op that they're using? Hey, look at me. Hey, what I'm doing. Woo! Look what a taxpayer says. Filling a pothole makes the news. Roads should be maintained without fanfare. I pay my taxes. Doesn't warrant a post camera filming. Ouch. Ouch. Sue Alton is saying, hey, that's your job to get things done. We don't need to applaud you. We need to pat you on the back. I see. Woohoo! You're the best. Yes. They're doing their job, what they signed up for. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack. Oh, why you hate it? If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Let's not go that far. Let's not go that far. Academy, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Panda Express is all in the same area. Look at that hole. Calling the city tomorrow. ¿Por qué pregunto? Dependiendo de dónde estás o dónde está el local, el negocio, a los comisionados. Dependiendo de qué distrito está el local. También se puede comunicar con Nurit Kalonsky. Nurit Kalonsky, ella en su campaña habló de arreglar las calles. Ella sería la persona adecuada. Al igual, Tino Villarreal. Nurit Kalonsky y Tino Villarreal son los comisionados at large, que ellos ven toda la ciudad. Se comunica con él. Southmost, Brian. So again, contact those three people. Nurit Kalonsky, who was a former Precinct 1, District 1 commissioner. Tino Villarreal, he's the at-large, just like Nurit Kalonsky, and Brian Martinez. Those are the three people that you should contact and be like, hey, I'm seeing that city resources, yo estoy viendo que los recursos de la ciudad fueron usados para arreglar una calle privada. Yo también quiero que la ciudad venga y use los recursos para arreglar mi negocio. Y diles así. Y mándales este link si gustes. Hasta yo hablo contigo, hombre. But again, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Is the city of Brownsville? This is District 4, if I'm not mistaken, Pedro Cardenas. Are you going to use city funds, city resources, city manpower to fix this pot? You said it, Montelongo. I didn't. That's the question. that's right around the corner from where this happened. Is Linda Macias, is Pedrito Cardenas going to address this hole at Panda Express? Is this private property? Does this belong to the city? What do you think, chat? I'm not either. A mí me vale. That's why I like you, Montelongo. Aren't we making valid arguments that sinkhole at Academy was there for years? What I can find, at least 2 years. Somebody was telling me close to 8, possibly 10 years. Why wasn't city enforcement out there? Why weren't the owners penalized? A fine issued. If you had damage to your vehicle, to your tires, to your suspension, to your shocks, to your body, to your car, to your vehicle, send the bill to the owner. Send the bill to the city of Brownsville. They're paying things. They're doing things. Cóbrales. Pero van a decir, oh, no. That's city property. That's no. That's a ellos. No, I don't know. You see what we're going at? While you could probably make fun of Frankie Olivo for talking about this issue, we have legitimate concerns. We have legitimate questions. And it's not me. I didn't want to talk about this. I could care less about a damn pothole. I got other things to worry about, like corruption. But business owners asked me, sir, will you be talking about this? And I said, no. And they said, sir, please talk about this. And again, I'm all about the will of the people. Again, I'm a humble servant. I'm a nobody. You may think that I'm just the face. I'm just the mic. But behind me is a community that's sick and tired of things like this, of things such as corruption running rampant and nothing. Everybody's just like this. Corruption? Where? No te creo. No. People are sick and tired of things like this getting done. Now, while we applaud and congratulate and yes, woo, we have to ask the tough questions. What agreement was made? Why were city resources used? It's at least more than 2 years. Someone told me, Hope, that it goes back 8-10 years. I couldn't prove that. Again, I could only say what I know, what I could confirm. And that was 2 years. So if you're a business owner, and if you have a sinkhole, if you have a hole, if you need your street to be paved, if you need maintenance, call the city. Call the city. They're setting precedents. They're saying, hey, look, this hole has been here forever, and we're going to fix it. Okay, we'll hold you to that. It's setting a dangerous precedent because we're not enforcing the code for safety, for hazard. Safety hazard. We're Brownsville. Somos Matamoros, hombre. Pretty much. Why wasn't these property owners fined? Why didn't code enforcement go over? Why was nothing done? Why did it take Linda Macias to get Pedrito? Pedrito, vente, güey, vente, haz algo, güey. Finally do something. Sí. I'm Pedrito Cardenas, and I did it. Ay, raza. Again, you may not like what I have to say. But I'm not saying it. My business owners are saying it. People that have legitimate concerns and saying, hey, why are city funds, city resources being used on private property? I ask you the question, you, my people, you, the community, are city resources being used to pave streets on private property? And if so, why aren't they fixing other business owners' properties? Something to think about. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frankie Olivo. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, all summer long, we're going to give you nothing but bangers. I promise you. I may ask for a few days in August, but I know you're not going to let me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and your attention. Best believe that Good Morning Brownsville will come on to you live and in color Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. I will never ask you for money, Brownsville. I will never ask you for food. Well, it depends what you're making. All I ask of you, ladies and gentlemen, is to subscribe to my YouTube channel under Frankie Olivo TV. That's all I ask of my community. You want me to stick my neck out there? You want me to continue to bring you bangers? You want me to talk about corrupt politicians? I'll do that. I'll gladly do it with a smile on my face. All I ask is a simple subscribe, simple like, a simple comment. I don't think I ask for much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Good Morning Brownsville, and my name is Frankie Olivo. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Tune in tomorrow. Should be a good one. My name is Frankie Olivo, ladies and gentlemen. This is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace. Have a great day. Yeah, let's drop the elevator music. Let's drop it. People have been asking for it. Let's drop it. Happy Wednesday, fam. Have a great day. Let's get it.